Cheers to Channel 31.
To no harassment. Oh, the show's starting.
Unfortunately.
Well, sorry to ruin the fun, but we've had a big week of news that we've got to get through.
You're right. Recently, Four Corners has found rampant harassment and general unpleasantness at Channel 7.
A massive win in our books.
How the mighty have fallen.
One after the other, another commercial network has fallen, leaving our humble Channel 31 community network the last one standing.
I'm talking 7. I'm talking 9. I'm talking 7 again.
Not 10?
Fuck 10. They killed Patrick and Offspring.
Laura, wasn't that like 10 years ago?
11 years. Long, painful years. Okay. I'm just gonna go and blow my nose into my hands.
Gross. Well, speaking of blowing, whistleblowing that is, whistleblowers report being driven to attempt suicide, others facing rampant sexual discrimination, while 7 no doubt gives away more money than the cash cow to keep everything quiet. With a spotlight now firmly on commercial newsroom culture, we've dispatched our own investigators to ensure everything is above board. We cross now to the Struggle's hard-working investigative team in their interview with our most easily manipulated intern.
The golden age of television began to dim in 1969 when pesky women were allowed into newsrooms, and men haven't been able to keep their hands off since. These toxic cultures grow like mold that spray and wipes cannot remove. But here at The Struggle, we pride ourselves on safe workplace culture. So we're turning our cameras on ourselves to show the major networks how it's done.
G'day.
Tell me, what was your first impression of our newsroom?
Well, when I first got here, I was fresh off working at Channel 7. So I gotta say, this whole culture was a really welcome change of pace.
What do you mean?
Here at The Struggle, you guys practice best working conditions, and I actually got some footage of all of my interactions with the team just to prove how good it is.
Wait, what? So you've documented your working conditions?
Yeah. Roll it.
Besides from what you've shown us, can you walk us through your average day?
So most of my days sort of centre around helping our producer out with her workload. Hey boss, just the scripts you wanted me to edit?
Fuck off!
After that, I go out into the field to try and find some dirt for stories.
Like, if you're going to be on camera, like, you kind of got to look a bit
you have to be
fuckable.
hot,
yeah,
obviously.
exactly.
Excuse me guys, I'm really sorry to interrupt. I've got the drinks you wanted.
You idiots! I wanted no sugar!
You're fired.
You're not really making us look very good. Can you say our newsroom culture is any different? Anything at all?
Ooh, there is a difference in drugs. You guys are like way stricter here. I haven't even been asked to go and buy cocaine to butter up talent for an interview. Like, I even had to piss in a cup when I started here.
This one low-key tastes a bit funny.
Although now that I do think about it, I might have used the wrong container.
Well, I sure do feel a lot less bad about having that intern fired.
Ellie, the lawyer said he left of his own free will to pursue other exciting opportunities. Remember?
Speaking of denying any involvement, the whole business of former 7 employees speaking out inspired us to reach out to Kerry Stokes' one-time war hero.
Please welcome military expert and certified war criminal Ben Robert Spliff.
Oh, good day, guys. Yeah, I'm guilty.
The UN has told Australia it needs to compensate families for war crimes committed against civilians and prisoners in Afghanistan from 2005 to 2016.
Ben, do you think the UN is justified in this request?
Look, to be honest, I think the whole thing is bullshit. Having to go back and pay for some dirty hodgies for their crimes that, to be frank, can't be proven is just, it's an outrage. The UN has got the Australian government by the leg, and if they keep tugging at it, they're just going to pull it off.
Ben, I must admit, you're looking a bit rough there. Are you doing okay?
No, you can't.
Why not?
You can't do that here.
They let me do it at Channel 7. Look, I'm not going to lie. Losing my defamation case last year has been really tough on the old Ben Roberts spliff. I lost my job at the highly reputable 7 News, which has left me with no work at all. I don't have much in terms of job prospects. I mean, who wants to hire a bloke labelled as a war criminal? Earlier this year, I applied to go work for the Israeli Defence Force and things were looking really good. They told me I was outstanding in my killing field. But then, with all this court case BS, they told me it wouldn't help with their public reputation. Oh, I just feel so empty. It feels like Australia has tied me hands behind me back, kicked me down a hill and executed me. It's awful. All I've got left is me medals, me marijuana and a box full of ICOM radios. You know, I've always said you can never have too many radios.
Speaking of 7 News, do you have anything to say about the recent controversies regarding sexism and mistreatment of employees?
It was a professional and fantastic workplace for everyone. But fuck me, the absolute horseshit coming from those 4-corner pogues has got me red in the eyes. I hope those whistleblowing wankers get at least 6 years behind bars for the absolute slander against Channel 7's name. Lucky old Stokesy still has me back for an appeal. There's half a chance yet that if the judge makes one mistake in his 730-page finding, we'll ram it home. If that happens, imagine, I'll get a prime time interview slot on 7.
Oh my God. Laura, after that, I'm going to need a pina colada.
I think you might mean Cosmo Molly.
No, I would literally never drink that. Are you serious?
Molly, come on, we've practiced this for a sponsor.
Oh, of course. Yes. Let's have a Cosmo each.
So, the iconic Cosmopolitan magazine has returned to Australian shelves. Wait, like, actually on the shelf? Printed? Okay.
Yes, while this bunch of TikTok-dependent journalism students had waved a career in print media goodbye, it might not be all over yet for the glamorous world of glossy mags.
After closing its doors in 2018, Cosmo was 6 years into being 6 feet under. However, in a modern miracle, it has been revived.
Still very much in the woods though, the team is still hard at work trying to get its inky, perfumed pulse alive. We've sent our cameras to take a peek at how the resuscitation efforts are tracking.
Okay, everyone, let's keep focused, please. Oh, wow. Okay, what do we have here? Oh, we're crashing. God, there must be a subscription bleed. This happened last time I operated. Oh, there's cash leaking everywhere. I can't see where it's coming from. Ah, damn, no, right in the centerfold. Can I get a hand here? Give me everything we've got. Yes, a sealed section. Okay, perfect. These always do the trick. So when I do this, sales should spike, we should be in the clear. Oh no, still crashing. What, no one's ashamed of their sex lives anymore? Okay, give me something, an article, something new and edgy, you know. Why do good girls date bad boys? Shit, this is the best we have. We are in trouble. I said something exciting. This could have been in an 80s issue. If we don't do something now, Cosmo is done. And that's happened on my table once before. I won't let it happen again. What about a good cover interview? Please, God, make it someone relevant, someone young, people want to hear from. Let's think. Charlie XCX, she's big right now, or Employment Minister Murray is always good, even local, Troy Sivan. This is the best we've got. Tones and I, Dance Monkey was years ago. Plus she supported Pink on tour, for God's sake. Come on guys, think of our demo. People under the age of 35.
It's all we could get.
There's nothing I can do. Time of death, probably about a decade ago.
As one wing of the journalism field beats higher towards the glow of success, another fails and flaps its way toward receivership as the dripping tap of commerce runs dry.
Earlier in the week, reports from Canberra foretold disaster for the gaming industry as the Labor Party and Greens clashed over a potential ban on gambling ads across broadcast television. While the proposal was to protect children and families from insidious gambling addictions, fears quickly emerged for a hidden victim, Wollongong television station Win, which survives on razor-thin margins.
To save our regional friends, we dispatched our head of number crunching and embezzlement, Finn Nance, to investigate how they might survive without gambling revenue.
While gambling costs me most of my paycheck, it actually makes up the paycheck of a lot of commercial networks. Today, We're hitting the streets to find out how these people can possibly survive without gambling. What's the best way people can make money?
Work.
Just work a legitimate job.
And that's it, you just got to work hard and focus and...
What do you think of gambling ads?
Shouldn't be allowed.
It's appealing. Yeah, it's appealing, yeah.
If there was a business that was failing, how would you save it and get it to make money again?
Marketing, unfortunately.
Like your friends, they're not really your friends. You got to focus on your life, focus on your goals.
It appears all that Win Network needs to do is diversify their ads. But that probably won't happen because the rurals don't exactly approve of diversity. Back to you in the studio.
Oh, gambling ads.
That's how they've been making money.
We've been trying to gamble to make money. So silly.
While we wait for our last leg to come through, here's some ads that don't make us much money. And you can bet on that. Welcome back, nerds.
Following the end of the financial year, the thieving bastards at the ATO have decided that you must include the partner you've lived with in the past financial year on your tax return.
To try and get people excited about this attempt at daylight robbery, they've commissioned a rom-com trailer. We intercepted the trailer to see what they were trying to pull.
He's a struggling uni student, cut off for crashing Daddy's Range Rover outside of billboards. And he's got a tech startup and needs a place to crash before he cracks his first 10K. History will call them roommates, but the Australian Tax Office knows them as spouses. Struggle Productions presents Declare Your Partner. They're not married, they're not engaged. They haven't even been living together for a month. But because they've lived together in the past financial year, ATO wants to know. A story of commitment.
What if I moved out? What if we broke up?
It doesn't matter. I still have to put you on my tax return.
And confusion.
No, you know what? Yeah, I can't do it.
Please come back. I need to know your approximate income.
Are they together for tax purposes or something more?
I barely even know you. Being in financial cahoots, making me feel things. What are we?
Having you in my house has changed me. The threshold used to calculate my private health insurance rebate, liability for my Medicare levy surcharge, and family reduction calculations. My power to love, and the ability to transfer senior and pensioner tax offset. It's you. It's always been you.
Coming next financial year in a share house near you. Declare your partner.
From the ATO's controlling relationship to Australia's.
While Orcus was meant to be a loving union, it seems to have quickly turned into Australia being jerked around by its two abusive partners.
And not jerked in a good way.
Here is media darling Leo Roboto out on the street.
Have you ever had a mate that always wants to make plans with you, but when you do eventually get out for that delicious spaghetti meal, you're the one stuck with the bill? I have. In fact, I've got two. In September of 2021, Australia joined the US and UK in a new trilateral security agreement aimed at turning the screws on China in the Asia-Pacific region. Walk with me. The main idea of this agreement was to park a first fleet's worth of nuclear naval technology in our backyard. On paper, buddying up with two of our closest allies seemed like a pretty good idea. I mean, this was in the middle of ScoMo's Chinese trade war. But as more came out about the formation of this new Super Friends crew, the question of whether Australia was really getting a fair shake of the sauce bottle arose. I mean, for one, we'd already really upset those droopy-eyed Frenchmen when we pulled out of our previous submarine deal the year before. I don't think I know. Meanwhile, sentiment wasn't much rosier back home, with many voters questioning whether it was the best idea to be spending $250 million on nuclear submarines in the middle of a cost of living crisis. So you can imagine there was much dismay when last Monday it was revealed that a no-takesies-backsies clause had been introduced to the Orcus agreement, effectively allowing the US and the UK to pull out of the agreement within a year's notice, leaving Australia with the bill for any potential nuclear waste cleanup. Ugh. To some, the update updated Orcus agreement, which will run until 2075, simply keeps the jaw to the Asia Pacific kicked ajar should our senior partners ever get cold feet. While to others, like my dear Uncle Paul, Australia's continued toadying to Washington simply represents yet another continental expansion of American power akin to that which enjoys in Hawaii. I think it's time Australians really began to interrogate the toxicity of this geopolitical polycule and begin to examine the real complexities and issues of our relationship with the US. Namely, what's going on at Pine Gap? Because I'm pretty sure they're hiding Australian Frankenstein. Come on, I just want to see him. Let me see.
Well, folks, last week was every sadistic grade 5s teacher's favourite time. This year's NAPLAN results have been released and it is something.
Without dragging literal 9-year-olds too much, it's quite pathetic, to be honest.
Yeah, look, it's not great. 1 in 3 Australian school children is not meeting literacy and numeracy standards. That's like 50%, I think.
So close, babe. It's actually 1/3 of students, so that's like 25%.
Oh my God, you're so right. Please continue.
While it may seem impossible that so much students fail English and maths, we've got to cut them some slack. I mean, these 3rd graders are the very first lot of COVID homeschoolers raised by day drinkers.
What about all the other year levels that took the exams this year? They started making these tests harder starting 2023.
No excuses for them. They're probably just inept and perpetually dumb.
No, I agree. Fuck them kids. Even though rural and First Nations students are consistently ranked as needing additional support at 3 times the national average, it is the children who are wrong. And not the way we keep literal balls of inattentive energy chained to desks 5 days a week and expect them to write and care about a persuasive essay about the morality and legality of graffiti. Idiots.
Yeah, losers. I could do that so easily. It's not even hard. But I guess this is just where we're heading as a society. We're just underfunded classrooms of drop kicks and degenerates who are ill-prepared to enter a capitalistic world that doesn't give 2 shits about whether they live or die.
But there's always a silver lining. Female students consistently scored higher than their male counterparts, which doesn't surprise me because men are famously known to go to Jupiter to get stupider.
Even outside of the classroom, men have been proving that they're just not clever. Just this week, a male would-be arsonist only managed to set himself on fire in broad daylight with cameras filming while trying to burn down a barbershop.
Oh yeah, loser. He def scored a needs additional support on his NAPLAN. The guy probably doesn't know how to construct a critical analysis or read a map.
Unlike our next guest, who can actually read a map because they've been to other countries, we cross now to our international student correspondents.
Today, some mutual issues have brought us together. Or else India and China would be like a divorcing couple who are still fighting over the keys.
Even though we aren't the best of friends, but some tensions have brought us together. So both of us decided to keep the geopolitical tensions aside and focus on this issue.
You will notice international students have been in the news for quite a while because Finland government thinks we are political footballs.
And in 2020, when the COVID was at its peak, they didn't had any international students, so they didn't had money as well. So in 2021, when the situation was a bit relaxed, they welcomed us just like how my ex-girlfriend welcomed me back.
The reason why James took on his ass because Australia had no option but to bring us back. The Australian government can try to address the housing crisis without targeting students. The overseas students shouldn't be called students, they should be called scapegoats.
Well, that's true. The international students only occupy 4% of the housing sector in Australia. But still the Australian government thinks that because of us there is a housing crisis.
So they randomly decide to restrict the number of students without doing any solid research.
As of 2024, the international students bring in somewhere around $36.4 billion to the Australian economy. So just think how important we are to this country.
We're off to do something really important.
In the meantime, enjoy these ads.
G'day governments, got a tricky problem that's causing you embarrassment? Need to get it off the front page, out the social media feeds and into some dusty old room where no one can see it? Introducing Jim's Royal Commissions, your not so quick fix solution for any public misstep. Don't pay $30 million like they did for robo-debt, $600 million for disability and $7.4 for the banks. With this service, you can now escape the consequences of your actions whilst endearing yourself to the public, waste millions of public funds searching for solutions you don't even have to implement, and avoid becoming a better person at all costs. For the low price of screwing over the taxpayer, Jim's Royal Commission can make your scandal go away for good, or just until the public forgets. Jim's Royal Commissions, free for you, but not for everyone else.
Gather round, racists. We have big news to share.
That's right, queers and queens. Addison Ray has dropped her new track Diet Pepsi, and like everything she's done, it's a banger.
Taking inspo from the likes of Lana Del Rey's Cola and Diet Mountain Dew and that one Britney Spears interview where she loves Pepsi, Addison has joined the league of pop icons reveling in the Americana of soda and the demure nature of a diet beverage.
She's serving Y2K like y'all hoes wish you did. And giving Lolita in a way that makes Melanie Martinez look like a gosh darn crybaby fool.
Right on, Queen. The track has been Addison's first release since her collab with Charlie XCX back in March, and her first solo release since her debut EP dropped back in 2023. And she ate.
Eat your heart out, D'Amelios. Even if 2020 was rough for us, I knew being a dedicated, hardcore racist would pay off in the future.
Very mindful, very respectful, unlike those assholes on e-scooters.
Funny that you say that. The Melbourne City Council has banned the rental of electric scooters in the city centre to reduce traffic congestion and improve pedestrian safety and make life a little bit more boring in the city.
To investigate this, our team interviewed those for and against the ban to find out if they are convenient electric whiz machines or simply scooters from hell.
Melbourne should have banned these years ago. All they're good for is getting hurt.
Today, when the scooters are crawling back into the river from which they came from, I am filled with sadness. How are the douchey business guys chuffing on their vapes going to get around the city centre now? How are the drunk people going to injure themselves now? Where am I going to get a year's supply of helmets now?
Just the other day, some dickhead hit me with one of those bastard things. They were wearing blue shirt, some TNs, and no helmet. Then when they hit me, they yelled out, 50 points. 50 points? Some kind of sick joke?
Still, 50 points is 50 points.
They've now joined O-Bikes in the cemetery of transportations that never stood a chance in the Melbourne CBD.
Moving on to the other things that never stood a chance, health practitioners under the influence.
Well, we're allowed to have a cheeky bev or two in the studio. Secretly. Those big blokes at Channel 7 are allowed to have a cheeky bev or 800 in the studio. And the edit suite. Other professions just don't have the same freedom.
Our health know-it-all and apparent nurse gives her opinion on what should be done to make the profession better.
A chiropractor in Queensland was caught drunk as a skunk in July of 2021 and was forced by APRA to breathalyze himself before and after work. He couldn't fight the habit, and sadly, APRA banned him from practicing in December of that year. But that didn't stop our king, as he continued to treat 60 patients, including a 5-month-old baby, while he was unlicensed. But he got caught again in February 2024 and was forced out of the industry by the courts. He now works as a blood-sucking real estate agent. No more handiwork for this fella. I say, bring him back. Why shouldn't our health professionals be drunk on the job? Doesn't it make it more exciting? My gyno does a bumper coke before she inspects my insides, and my uterus has never been cleaner. The struggle baby saw the guzzled chiro before he hung up his white coat, and they've never felt better. He really knows how to crack a baby's back. APRA should be for the drugs, not against them. Here's to setting a new standard for our health professionals.
While the dog of a chiropractor lost his job, many other genuine dogs have found themselves to be losing their homes.
Is this because of the rental crisis or just because people are finally getting fed up with their COVID adoptions? Our watchdog sniffed out a story.
It may feel like the terrors of COVID lockdown are behind us, like we have finally reached the prophesized new normal. But there are sections of our society that are far from recovered. A group once adored, now neglected and marginalised, left behind by the pack as we ascend from this pandemic. I'm talking about the preposterously overpriced purebred puppies we all bought in lockdown, shamelessly spoiled, and then gave abandonment issues when we left the house for the first time in 2 years. When you went back to the office, Think about the Labradoodle you left with no lap to sit on. The Italian Greyhound with no one to help put on its jumper and mittens. What does your Siberian Sheepadoodle, Yorkapoo, Chow Chow, Shih Tzu, Collie mix do when you're not around anymore? These bougie dogs are flooding the shelters, and soon they're going to find themselves on an express train to a farm upstate where Old MacDonald's hound becomes a different sort of hot dog. Before hundreds of pedigree pooches are Cruella de Vil'd, we're here to give them the voice they have been denied. Hot dog! Bark to you in the studio.
In breaking news, our earlier interviewee, Ben Roberts-Spliff, has made his way into Channel 7's office.
Oh, g'day there. Look, my name's Ben Roberts-Spliff. I was wondering if I'd be able to get my job back at Channel 7. You know, I know you've been having some issues and stuff with some sexism allegations, some stuff like that, but I'm looking to get my job back. Maybe I can help out a little bit. What do you reckon? Is Kerry Stokes here? Maybe I can chat to him? No, you sure? Kerry Stokes, he won't be able to come down and see me? Does he know who I am? I'm Ben Roberts-Spliff. I used to work here back in the day. It's been brilliant. What do you think? No, nothing? There's no way I can get up there and go see him or anything? See you later? Oh, this is bloody outrage. I tell you what, I just want my job back. This is ridiculous, you know? No one cares about Ben Roberts-Spliff. This is absolutely bloody ridiculous. I tell you what, far out. Oh. I don't give a shit. I mean, I don't even want to work for 7, you know? Oh, Kerry Stokes my ass.
The struggle.
It's real.